Right, let's get straight into it. Welcome to this explainer, because today we are completely opening the vault. I'm acting as your master coach, and we're taking a behind closed doors, highly strategic look into exactly how Cambridge examiners grade the preparation of ledger accounts for the AS and A-level accounting 9706 syllabus. If you have ever stared at a marked paper wondering where on earth you bled marks, or how to finally secure that elusive top-tier grade, you are exactly where you need to be. We are not just reading from a textbook today. We are deconstructing real examiner reports. We're going to dissect complex questions, master your time allocation, and deploy critical thinking strategies that examiners are literally begging to see. By the end of this session, you'll know how to think, act, and execute like a candidate who practically owns the mark scheme.
I want you to look at this single massive number on the board, 15%. Based on the syllabus architecture and recent examiner breakdowns, the preparation of ledger accounts makes up approximately 15% of your total marks in Paper 2. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a minor topic you can gloss over during your late-night revisions. This is a foundational, load-bearing pillar of your final grade. We are often looking at complex, high-tariff questions worth anywhere from 9 to 15 marks. Getting this right is absolutely crucial, which is why this strategy session is going to be incredibly rigorous.
Here is our highly structured roadmap for today. We'll be covering the 15% advantage, mastering theoretical foundations, the standardized execution sequence, and finally, the top 3 examiner traps. Let's start deconstructing this immediately.
Section 1. The 15% advantage. Let's look at how we actually secure those high-tariff marks and understand the anatomy of Cambridge command words.
When tackling ledger accounts, your immediate instinct is probably to focus purely on the math, right? But surprisingly, a single wrong calculation early on does not mean you failed the question. You have to understand how marks are actually distributed in the examiner's lens. This perfectly illustrates what we call the method mark strategy. In multi-stage analysis, Cambridge examiners are actively looking to award you marks for your procedural process. This means you earn credit for demonstrating the correct steps. So if you make a tiny arithmetic error on day 1 of a transaction, but you carry that flawed number through the correct logical analytical steps, you can still secure the vast majority of the points. Examiners want to see your accounting logic. Now, if I take my digital highlighter on our smartboard right now and isolate the command words in a typical 15-mark prompt, you'll see a huge difference between them. You absolutely must deeply contrast a word like analyze versus evaluate, or explain versus to what extent. Analyze means breaking down the numbers, but evaluate demands a judgment. Explain wants the facts, but to what extent wants you to weigh 2 opposing sides. You have to spot the hidden constraints in the prompt, or you're answering a question they never asked.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Theoretical Foundations. Let's dive into how you actually apply this theory through a real peer conversation.
Understanding the mechanical process is great, but theory is what truly separates the average candidates from the absolute elite. Take a look at this quote drawn directly from the syllabus guidelines. Top-performing students exhibit connected, conceptual understanding transferable to unfamiliar contexts. To show you what this means in practice, let me take you inside a recent session I ran in our digital study suite with 2 of my scholars, Alex and Sam. We were tackling a brutal, high-stakes question. Now, Alex is highly technical, an absolute wizard with formulas and facts, but struggles heavily with open-ended evaluation. Sam is the total opposite, a creative thinker, brilliant at crafting big-picture arguments, but struggles with structural precision and timing. When I put this quote on the board, they immediately got into a massive debate. Alex was pushing for a purely factual approach, arguing that if you just memorize the ledger formats, you get the marks. But Sam fired back, correctly arguing for a broader, conceptual perspective. Sam pointed out that if you rely on 3 a.m. rote memorization, you are going to hit a brick wall. Cambridge will intentionally throw complex, completely unfamiliar business contexts at you. They want to test if your core principles are flexible enough to survive in the wild.
This debate between Alex and Sam brings us right to what the principal examiner reports explicitly state. Candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. As they were debating the essay layout on our smartboard, Alex kept trying to isolate the problem, just looking at the ledger in a vacuum. I had to step in with a realistic peer intervention and point out how to unlock those top-tier marking bands, specifically assessment objectives AO1, AO2, and AO3. AO1 is your knowledge, AO2 is your application, but AO3 is your analysis and evaluation. You cannot treat ledger accounts as an isolated island. It is deeply connected to the rest of the accounting ecosystem. You have to demonstrate causal relationships. If a ledger shows a massive increase in bad debts, how does that connect to the company's credit control policy from a completely different chapter? That is the analytical depth you need.
Let's break this down further with this table, which perfectly illustrates where Alex and Sam were clashing. Most students, like Alex initially, get stuck at the descriptive level you see here, just identifying given information and basic facts. The next tier up is analytical, where you break the problem into logical steps and solve it systematically. But to hit AO3 and unlock the highest marking bands, you must reach the evaluative level. This is where Sam's mindset shines. It means you are actively questioning assumptions, you are considering alternative interpretations, and you are justifying your final recommendations with hard numerical evidence. In our session, I had to challenge them both. Alex needed to borrow Sam's evaluative lens, and Sam needed Alex's systematic rigor. That combination is how you prove absolute mastery to an examiner.
Let's look at Section 3, the standardized execution sequence. How do we actually build this out step by step?
Okay, right before we solve the absolute hardest part of this execution sequence, I need to pause our session for a quick second. If you're serious about securing an A-star and you want a weekly, behind-the-scenes Cambridge breakthrough strategy just like this one, you need to subscribe to the channel right now. It's Ace the Exam's IGCSE and A levels with the handle @AceTheExam_IGCE. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so you literally never miss an exam hack. All right, let's get back into the digital study suite. I had Alex and Sam actively drafting a model response, paragraph by paragraph on the screen, but suddenly they hit a major roadblock. Sam completely lost track of time, and Alex couldn't figure out how to link the analytical paragraphs together smoothly. So I used our picture-in-picture feature to pause their session, step in, and explain this exact 5-step methodological algorithm to get them unstuck. Step 1, deconstruct the question to find the constraints. Step 2, extract relevant data. Step 3, execute with clear notation. Step 4, verify results. And Step 5, present with correct terminology.
To help Alex and Sam, and you, recall this during the immense, high-pressure environment of the actual exam, here is the ultimate memory hack. DEEVP. Deconstruct, extract, execute, verify, present. When my scholars hit that roadblock, I made them wipe the board and run the DEEVP algorithm from scratch. We rewrote the flawed section out loud together. Alex handled the extraction and execution of the data, while Sam handled the deconstruction and presentation. By forcing their chaotic thoughts through this cognitive strategy, we showcased a clear, real-time transition from a mediocre, disjointed answer to a flawless, full-mark response. If you ever feel overwhelmed by a massive multi-part question, just pause, take a breath, and run DEEVP.
Now, I want to invite you into an immersive visual workshop right now. I'm addressing you directly here. Let's pretend I've just flashed a complex data source on the screen, a messy, unformatted trial balance. I'm starting a 60-second visual countdown timer in the corner of your screen. Your task? Format it. Time's up? How did you do? I really want to emphasize that final step of the DEVP method, present. The principal examiner reports explicitly note that presentation follows strict, non-negotiable conventions. We're talking about proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotation. Forgetting these presentation checks means you are quite literally throwing away easy, free marks. Alex learned this the hard way during our session. It doesn't matter if your math is Nobel Prize worthy. If it isn't formatted properly to Cambridge's strict visual standards, you simply won't get the credit.
Section 4, Top 3 Examiner Traps. We're moving to the second part of our workshop.
Let's continue the workshop. I'm putting a poorly written student answer on the board right now. Your job is to spot the flaw. Find the 3 errors. Did you catch them? Let me systematically highlight and annotate the screen to dissect the correct paths and reveal the exact traps set by examiners. First, the student provided vague answers that lack specific details. If you just write, "sales went up," examiners cannot award marks. They need to know by how much and why. Second, as we just saw, they completely forgot their formatting and presentation checks. No dates, no proper headings. And third, they provided generic answers that were not specific to the context given in the question. These are the 3 exact pitfalls examiners are actively hunting for when grading paper 2. Let's look at that third trap more closely. Visually contrasting these 2 approaches is mind-blowing. The classic mistake is the generic response. Rote memorized facts applied blindly. This was Alex's initial instinct. It shows you know the textbook, but you have zero idea how to actually apply it in the real world. Examiners demand context-specific answers. This means linking every single piece of evidence,
every calculation and every evaluative point back to the specific business scenario they provided. If the prompt is about a struggling manufacturing business facing supply chain issues, your ledger analysis better mention the specific material costs of that manufacturing business, not just a generic definition of a purchase ledger. You have to weave the story of the business into your numbers.
To synthesize our entire masterclass today, Alex and Sam had some massive personal breakthroughs, and they all map back to 3 core, memorable pillars you must adopt. First, the 3-step question scan, which is essentially deconstructing the given information before you even pick up a calculator. Second, the paragraph balance formula, where you logically and systematically solve the problem, balancing Alex's technical facts with Sam's broader context. And third, the last 5 minutes review checklist, which forces you to evaluate the evidence and ensure you've actually made justified recommendations based on the data. If you apply this 3-part framework, you are operating at the absolute highest assessment level.
I am going to leave you with this final, provocative question to challenge your entire mindset as you study this week. Look at your past papers and ask yourself honestly, are you just calculating numbers like a robot, or are you actually evaluating the evidence to make justified strategic recommendations? Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, relentless strategy, not just hard work. So if you want to keep gaining these elite examiner insights, explicitly go right now and hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE ONA levels. Handle @AceTheExam_IGCSE. Turn on that notification bell for future exam hacks, and I want you to leave a comment down below right now with your exact target grade. Put it out into the universe, commit to the EVEAT method, and I will see you in the next explainer. Keep analyzing.